6. In January, that's the total number of new Jaguars registered in the entire United Kingdom. Not 6,006. A year earlier, the same month, it was 783. That's not a slow month. That's a company that has functionally stopped selling cars in its own country. Here's the part that makes this stranger than a normal business collapse. Nobody did this to Jaguar. Jaguar did it to themselves on purpose. They wiped their own history off the internet in an afternoon. They pulled the leaping cat off the hood. They stopped building cars before the replacement cars existed. And if you happen to own a Jaguar right now, stick with me, because there's something specific under the hood of a lot of them you need to hear. I'll get to it. But first, how does a brand that won Le Mans 5 times end up selling 6 cars in a month? November 18th, 2024, overnight, Jaguar deleted its entire social media archive, a century of race photos, launches, and customer moments, gone before breakfast. The next day, they revealed the new direction. The leaping cat badge was gone, replaced with a plain lowercase word mark. New slogans followed: delete ordinary, copy nothing, and then came the actual advertisement. Models in neon outfits, walking through pastel abstract sets. No car, not a wheel, not a badge, not a headlight. If you'd stumbled onto it without context, you'd have guessed perfume or streetwear before you'd have guessed car company. It hit 100 million views in 48 hours, not because people loved it, but because they couldn't stop sharing their disbelief. Elon Musk reportedly summed up the internet's reaction in 4 words: "Do you sell cars?" A German outlet polled nearly 18,000 readers. 93% called it unsettling and said it no longer felt like Jaguar at all. 2 weeks later, at Miami Art Week, they doubled down with a concept car called the Type 00 Long, low, deliberately strange, compared online to a Barbie car and an air conditioning vent. Jaguar's leadership defended it. The brand needed to polarize, they said, not blend in. There was just one problem no amount of confidence could fix. None of it was for sale. By then, Jaguar had already stopped making cars entirely. To understand why that stings, you need to know what Jaguar actually was. It started in 1922, above a motorcycle sidecar shop in Blackpool, with a 21-year-old named William Lyons who had one obsession: making a car look like it cost 3 times what it actually did. By 1935, that company had a new name, Jaguar, chosen for exactly one reason: it sounded like speed. In 1948, their XK120 became the fastest production car on Earth. Through the 50s, Jaguar's race cars won Le Mans 5 times. And this is the part that mattered to customers. The same engine winning at Le Mans was sitting under the hood of the car in your driveway. Then, in 1961, at the Geneva Motor Show, came the E-Type so late to finish that a test driver drove it through the night just to make the reveal. It stopped the show anyway. 150 miles an hour, disc brakes on all 4 wheels, and a price tag roughly half of a comparable Ferrari. Frank Sinatra owned one. So did Steve McQueen. Nearly 79,000 were built. This wasn't a niche prestige badge, it was genuine engineering excellence sold to people who weren't millionaires. Jaguar's independence didn't survive the 60s. A 1966 merger folded it into British Leyland, which was nationalized by 1975, and quality collapsed along with it. Electrical faults and rust became a running joke that haunted the brand for 30 years. Ford bought Jaguar in 1989 and genuinely improved the engineering, but never made real money on it. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, Ford sold Jaguar and Land Rover together to Tata Motors of India for $2.3 billion. Skeptics assumed a company famous for building the world's cheapest car couldn't handle a prestige British badge. They were wrong. Under Tata, real investment finally arrived the F-Type in 2013. The F-Pace becoming Jaguar's bestseller almost overnight. The electric I-Pace winning World Car of the Year in 2018. By then, Jaguar was moving over 180,000 cars a year worldwide. This was not a company in decline. Then, in 2021, came the plan called Reimagine. Go fully electric, discontinue every gas model, and reposition Jaguar to compete not with BMW and Mercedes, but with Bentley and Porsche at more than double the price. And then came the decision that turned an ambitious bet into a genuine crisis. They stopped building the old cars before the new ones were ready. Production of the X, and F-Type ended in the summer of 2024. By November, Jaguar had stopped supplying new cars to the UK altogether. No competitor did it this way. BMW, Mercedes, and Audi all launched EVs alongside their existing lineups. Jaguar built its customers a bridge to nowhere, and then removed the bridge. By April 2025, Jaguar's European registrations had fallen 97% year over year. Global sales for the financial year landed around 27,000 cars, down 85% from that 2018 peak. Then this January, 6. To be fair to Jaguar, they'd argue this was the plan working exactly as intended. You can't sell cars you're not building. And the collapse was scheduled, not accidental. Parent company JLR posted a record $2.5 billion profit that year, propped up almost entirely by Land Rover. This isn't a company that ran out of money. But planning a fall doesn't make it painless, and the people who ran the plan didn't survive it either. The ad agency behind the campaign was dropped months into its contract. The CEO who championed Reimagine retired after 35 years. In December 2025, the chief creative officer, the same person credited with the hugely successful Range Rover Evoque and Defender, was dismissed after 2 decades with the company. Then, in late August 2025, JLR was hit by a cyber attack severe enough to shut down its entire global network. Manufacturing across the whole group halted for weeks. Because JLR is Britain's largest car maker, that single incident was large enough to drag down the UK's total annual vehicle production by more than 15%. Now, the part I promised Jaguar owners. Since 2015, most Jaguars have run a diesel engine family called Ingenium, built into the XC, XF, E-Pace, F-Pace, and several Land Rover models. It uses a timing chain instead of a belt, normally a good thing, since a chain is supposed to outlast the engine. On this one, it often doesn't. The chain stretches. The guides it runs against wear down and shed debris into the oil. Eventually, valve timing slips. The warning sign is a metallic rattle for a few seconds on a cold start, and a lot of owners hear it for months and assume it's just diesel noise. It usually isn't. It typically shows up between 60,000 and 80,000 miles, and it gets worse with short trips and long service intervals. Catch it early, and it's an expensive repair. Ignore it, and the chain can jump or snap entirely, at which point the pistons strike the valves, and you're not fixing an engine, you're buying a new one. Because the chain sits at the back of the engine, the gearbox has to come out just to reach it, which is why so many of these get written off instead of repaired. There's no recall on this in the UK, which means if you're out of warranty, the bill is yours. So if you own one, tomorrow morning, before you drive anywhere, start it cold with the radio off and listen. A rattle that clears after a few seconds is worth getting checked that week, not next month. On value, a company pausing production doesn't erase what's already on the road. The last real F-types are already being treated as future classics. And if you have a good one, this isn't the moment to panic sell. The XC, XF, and F-Pace are a different story. They're ordinary used cars now that the badge doesn't carry what it used to, so if you were planning to sell, sooner beats later. On parts and service, no real reason to worry. Jeller is large and profitable, and Land Rover's strength keeps the supply chain alive. Just watch your local dealer network, it's shrinking fast. So find a trusted independent specialist before you need one. And if you're shopping used right now, A Jaguar is a genuine amount of car for the money, precisely because the badge is in the state it's in. The first new Jaguar, a fully electric four-door with over 400 miles of range and north of 500 horsepower, arrives this year. Expected to start near $100,000. By most early accounts, it's a legitimately good car. But that was never really the question. The question is whether anyone will still be thinking about Jaguar by the time they're ready to spend that kind of money. William Lyons built this entire company on one idea: make it look and drive like it cost 3 times the price, for people who weren't rich. The new Jaguar is asking those same people to spend $100,000 or walk away. So tell me, did you ever own one? An XJ? An S-Type? An XK? And do you think there's a way back for this badge? Or is the leaping cat gone for good? Between everyone reading this, you've probably owned every Jaguar that's ever existed, and that's a more honest record than anything the company will publish. If this made you look at your own driveway differently, subscribe, because Jaguar isn't the only historic British name in serious trouble right now. There's another one almost nobody's talking about, and that's next.